Hello everyone, it's Wednesday tea time and I just thought I'd give you a quick update from the site of the former Gill Cemetery and Sunderland's newest park. I work close by, but I always like to pop along every couple of weeks, see what's happening, because if anybody's following the channel on the history stuff on Facebook, you know it's a big part of my love of Sunderland history is this long gone former cemetery with over 5,000 people buried here at least. We'll never know the accurate exact figures because the church, Bishopwearmouth Parish Church, never stated which of the three possible graveyards people were actually laid to rest in. You can work out some of the years where it's likely somebody would be buried, but we just know some people from newspaper records, from mentions in other cemeteries, and also headstone lists that I've come across in the past that were before they're all taken down. It's rush hour in Sunderland. The storm clouds are looming. I just checked the weather. There's about 40-50% chance of rain this hour, so I'm not going to be hanging around too long, and thunderstorms as well. Well, this particular park is expected to be done by autumn this year. I'm not too sure if that's going to be on schedule because it looks like a hell of a lot of work to be done in terms of planting, wall building, and it's going to be quite a large park actually, because it starts off over in Silksworth Row, which is over there where all the cars are, and heads right off into that particular corner. And that huge building over there, that is the brand new eye infirmary. It's an absolutely huge building. Much bigger than the one that's over down on the edge of Ashbrook, Queen Alexandra Road. There's quite a few workmen on here. Still a bit of wildlife. I saw a fox down the bottom a few months back, and there's always rabbits because I actually work close by, so I'm always popping over. I don't think I've done a video update for like 3 weeks from here and so on. But just to give you some idea of this particular spot, when it was opened, this is the Bishopwearmouth area of what was the borough of Sunderland at the time. Historically this was the parish of Bishopwearmouth. Sunderland was down by the east end, and because the churchyard was running out of space, it decided to open this particular cemetery to service Bishopwearmouth. That was, I think it was October 1839, roughly around that time it opened. It closed around the start of May 1856, and it was replaced by that huge cemetery up Chester Road, Bishopwearmouth Cemetery, which if you live in Sunderland, you'll know where that is. For anybody who doesn't live in Sunderland, we're literally probably about 300 metres away from the Empire Theatre and the city centre. But for decades this was just a field. There is no trace that this even was a cemetery, and any of the plans for this particular park and gardens, I think it's called Kingsley Gardens at the back, and that's Riverside Park or something along there. There's no mention of the cemetery in any of the development plans for the whole of this area along by the river. Shame really. There'll still be people in Sunderland today who have no idea of its history. If you have followed me written stuff on Facebook, you know this was one of the things that got me interested in Sunderland history about 6 years ago, writing about the people who were laid to rest here. We do know quite a few of the names, but we don't know every single one, as I mentioned before. The artist John Wilson Eubank, Google him. Great artist, my favourite artist. William Blackett, who had the department store as well. He started the business off back in the, I think, first half of the 1800s as a draper down in Sunderland. Thomas Pigg was a local mathematician. Dr. William Reed Clammy, one of the early inventors of a type of miner's lamp. But I've always wanted to give some awareness of this particular place. This whole area is rapidly changing. Just over there, That is the Farringdon Road car park, award winning. And just down there, you can't get down there because there's construction works. That's Gally's Gill. That was one of their old routes down to the River Wear. There's a couple of railway tunnels which are blocked off down there as well. There's Gill Bridge. And you might not be able to see it on the camera, you might see the distance. Stadium Light on the other side of the river. But that's the old Vork site across there. It's actually looking quite smart actually. I know it gets a lot of criticism, people moaning about the colour of the bricks, the size of the buildings, the shape of them. But compared to what could have been, because remember, that was going to be, Tesco's wanted to build a huge supermarket. But now it's actually, we're going to have a Kiel Bridge, which is just sort of a few hundred metres away, across to the stadium and so on. But we'll just have a look further up. The cemetery had its own cemetery chapel, which was located pretty much straight across from where I am there now. I think it held about 72 people. But I don't think it opened until about 1848, so about the first 9 years. Burials would either be at the graveside, well, the funeral services, burial services, or over at the church, and I'd come across there. There's Catholics buried here, paupers. There's a gentleman who was fought at the Battle of Trafalgar. There's lots of people who worked down at the shipyards, the glass factories, the bottle factories. There's an ironworks nearby. There's a famous explosion in 1845 where about 5 people got killed. They were buried here. There was a massive funeral. There's also an incident when 2 men climbed up a tower at the bottle works. I think it was about 150, 200 feet up, and went up on like a pulley inside, but tragically hung on and fell off. They were buried here. It's got lots of history. And just before the Second World War started, they built air raid shelters at the very front, because the cemetery actually used to go right across the dual carriageway, but I think that was ornamental. And even round here, this was Hopper Street was there. It was cross Farringdon Row, back Farringdon Row. Completely changing. I've done a video before about the lost community of Deptford. That was pretty much, if you go down in that direction, a few hundred metres down there, the old west end of Bishopwearmouth and Sunderland. So it'd be great to have some plaque here one day. But win the lottery tonight. I'll arrange something. I've been a bit busy and other stuff lately that I can dedicate enough time to doing something about the Gill Cemetery. I get distracted easily while doing other bits and pieces, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. In fact, tonight I was going to go off to Bishopwearmouth Cemetery and do a video on the death of a Crimean veteran who's buried there. He's got a lovely headstone, but I couldn't risk it with the storm. Might not get too much rain anyway, so you never know. Got to go to Aldi now anyway to do my shopping, so it's too late. My legs are knackered. Hopefully once the park's open I'll be able to do like a proper video down here. One thing I forgot to mention, over in the distance underneath that white wall and that crane, that's where the 24 vaults were. A lot of people always mention, oh, the remains were dug up years ago. They weren't. Headstones were taken down on several occasions, and that was by like licence, and that was advertised in the newspapers, and they kept records of them. But literally they just moved the headstones to either side of the cemetery. It's got so much history, this place. You'd have to write a book to tell it all, to put it all into one video. But basically, when it closed in 1856, nobody wanted to look after it. The church weren't interested, and the new burial board who looked after Bishopwearmouth Cemetery, they had no interest in it. So there was a bit of to and fro before about who was responsible. So bit by bit it got vandalised, fell into disrepair, it was a rubbish dump. Just a few weeks after it was closed, some of the church wardens told the local builder that he could dump loads of rubble in here. So a huge area, it was covered with 3 foot of earth, and a lot of the headstones were taken down, but they were ordered would be to have it put back to how it was originally. Now it's been a playground, local schools used to use it as a football. On this video, by the time of uploading stuff, I might have actually put some pictures in just to show what it looked like in the past. Right, I'm off to do my shopping anyway, so thank you very much for watching. If you want to click on the subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Oh, quickly, my provisional plan is to do the Pennywell mass grave on Saturday morning. I'm getting up, no excuses, going up Pennywell to do that particular video. And well, if I can get a Bishopwearmouth cemetery next couple of days, I might do a video weather dependent and so on. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time, wherever that may be. So thanks for watching, everyone. See you later. Bye.